Welcome back to Football Daily. This is the 10 weirdest transfers that could happen this summer. With transfer season now in full swing, let's take a look at 10 of the weirdest moves being talked about this summer. Be warned though, it's about to get pretty silly. 10. Ivan Rakitic to Arsenal. With Barcelona apparently poised to sell a number of players this summer to free up funds to pursue Lautaro Martinez, a name which has come up a lot is Ivan Rakitic. It makes a lot of sense. Rakitic turns 33 next March, has his contract running out a few months later and reportedly earns €250,000 a week. Barca would do well to get him off the wage bill a year early. What makes a lot less sense are the rumours linking him to Arsenal. While a €10 million return to Sevilla has also been touted for the Croatian midfielder, you'd expect he would have to take a significant pay cut to rejoin the Andalusian outfit, whereas he'd surely demand a fairly hefty pay packet to go to the Premier League. Even if Barcelona demanded little to no fee for him, this would still be a pretty stupid move for the Gunners. With Willian already coming in on a long-term big money contract, not to mention the swathe of redundancies to non-playing staff at the Emirates this summer, the last thing Arsenal need is another ageing star. Even if the potential departures of Matteo Guendouzi, Lucas Torreira and Ainsley Maitland-Niles leave Mikel Arteta with little to no cover in midfield. Luckily for Arsenal fans, these rumours seem to be pretty tenuous to say the least. 9. Raul Jimenez to Manchester United. Thanks to Neil Calejo1 for suggesting this one on Twitter, a rumour that seems to come and go by the week despite being consistently nonsensical is that linking Raul Jimenez to Manchester United. While the Red Devils have clearly made securing the right wing slot a priority and are also in the need of strengthening a defensive midfield and centre-back, a centre-forward is also reportedly on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's wish list. Despite Anthony Martial's excellent 19-20 season, it is understandable, given that with Odion Ighalo's loan coming to an end next January, Mason Greenwood would be the only viable backup to the Frenchman. But although Raul Jimenez has been one of the most consistent strikers in England over the past year, contributing to 30 goals in all competitions in 19-20, he's surely not what United are looking for. 29 years old and with a market value of near £70 million, his importance to Wolves means they demand even more for him. Even with their riches, United can't afford to make a move like that for a rotation player. In July, Mexico national team coach Tata Martino publicly encouraged Jimenez to make the move to Manchester, but he's very much in the minority on this far-fetched transfer rumour. 8. Jeff Hendrick to Newcastle. Unlike the previous two transfers we've spoken about, this one actually seems very feasible. Not that any Newcastle fans will be particularly excited about it. Jeff Hendrick has already been a surprise name on the rumour mill this summer, with reports in May indicating AC Milan were interested in the Irish international, whose contract expired at Burnley in June. But with that move now apparently off, and with Newcastle's spending plans taking a big hit following the breakdown of their takeover by Saudi Public Investment Fund, Hendrick is now being touted as a potential free pickup for the Magpies. Whether he'd actually add anything to Steve Bruce's side is another matter. A versatile midfielder who doesn't seem to excel in any particular area, Hendrick got a respectable 2 goals and 2 assists in 19-20, but averaged fewer key passes and shots than Sean Longstaff and won the ball back less than Miguel Almiron. Clearly a backup option should they be unable to make Nabil Bentaleb's move permanent. Hendrick would surely be a bench warmer at St James's Park. 7. Josh King to Everton. Another deeply uninspiring transfer we could somehow imagine happening is Josh King joining Everton. This month, reports emerged that the Toffees are apparently interested in a Norwegian striker who's available for about £15 million. But we're finding it hard to see where he would fit at Goodison Park. Moise Kean might have endured a disappointing first campaign on Merseyside, but Dominic Calvert-Lewin has had his best season yet, and he was matched for goals by Richarlison. The Toffees' real weakness lies in chance creation, with Alex Iwobi, Gylfi Sigurdsson and Theo Walcott all failing to step up to the mark, and none of the club's midfielders or forwards topping 3 assists this campaign. How King would help sort those issues is anyone's guess. The last time he hit double figures for non-penalty goals was back in 16-17, and although he would provide decent cover in the forward areas, surely Carlo Ancelotti is going to look for midfielders and defenders this summer. His price is hardly bank-breaking, but the 28-year-old would just make Everton's attack more bloated rather than truly improve it. 6. Chris Smalling to Juventus. With Chris Smalling enjoying a very decent season on loan at Roma in 19-20, the English defender has seen his stock rise in Serie A. The Englishman, who racked up the 6th most minutes in the Giallorossi squad this term, was wanted on a permanent at the Stadio Olimpico. However, they weren't able to meet Manchester United's £15 million asking price. Meanwhile, Juventus have emerged as surprise challengers for Smalling's signature, but beyond using him as cover for their backline, we can't really see what use he'd be for the Italian champions. A 33-year-old Leonardo Bonucci played more minutes than anyone at Juve in 1920, whilst Matthijs de Ligt ranked 4th among outfield players at the Allianz Stadium. And with Chiellini, Demiral and Rugani still at the club, Smalling would surely just be a backup. A possible swap deal involving Federico Bernardeschi has been touted, which would work out pretty well for United. But for Smalling, this surely isn't going to be an option if he wants to carry on playing consistent first-team football. 5. Joao Felix to Man City. After escaping FFP sanctions, Manchester City are going big in the transfer market this summer, and after selling Leroy Sané to Bayern Munich have already spent £60 million on Nathan Ake and Ferran Torres. And with Sergio Aguero's contract up next year, the club are working hard to locate a replacement for the legendary striker. Joao Felix is rumoured to be one player they've identified, and City have apparently already asked Atletico Madrid about the 20-year-old, who has fallen out of favour with manager Diego Simeone, making just 3 league starts following Spanish football's comeback in June. However, a goal involvement every 214 minutes doesn't exactly scream Aguero replacement, even in a defensive side, and the Portuguese youngster isn't even a stylistic fit either, not to mention the fact Atleti spent €126 million on him last summer. Surely if City are really serious about replacing their veteran striker, his countryman Lautaro Martinez would be a better option. Available for an equally large but arguably more appropriate price, the 22-year-old Argentinian is already producing similar numbers to his countryman, firing off 3.3 shots in the box per 90, creating over a chance a game in a far less productive side than City. He may have his heart set on a move to Barca, but the citizens have money on their side. Either way, they shouldn't be going for Joao Felix when they've got Jesus as a backup right now. 4. Alex Meret to Man United. Another rumour which seems pretty unbelievable, Manchester United are apparently monitoring the situation of Napoli stopper Alex Meret. With David De Gea coming off his worst season in years, Dean Henderson is set for another campaign on loan at Sheffield United. And with the academy graduate determined to take the number 1 spot at Old Trafford or leave, the Red Devils are reportedly looking at other targets should Henderson flee the nest. However, Alex Meret seems an odd choice. The Italian is only 23 and has received plaudits for his performances in the past. However, like De Gea, he's coming off the back of a particularly poor season. In 22 Serie A appearances, Meret has kept just 3 clean sheets, with backup David Ospina keeping 2 more in 5 fewer games, while he only boasts the 2nd worst save percentage in the entire division. To be honest with you, this rumour is such nonsense, I'm not going to entertain it. David De Gea is going to have 1 more season, then Dean Henderson's going to come in and take the number 1 shirt. 3. Troy Deeney to Tottenham. As Tottenham's constant search for a backup striker to Harry Kane goes on, Troy Deeney is the latest name to crop up, with some reports suggesting the Watford captain could move to Spurs on loan. First of all, this doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. With just a year left on his contract, the Hornets would surely demand a fee if they're serious about letting go of such an important figure as they re-enter the Championship. Not only that, but he hasn't been the most consistent performer for Watford over the last couple of seasons. Despite the fact this would be a sensational move for Troy Deeney, it would be something of a culture shock for the 32-year-old. And what's more, with knee problems plaguing a lot of his 1920 campaign, he's far from the ideal man to play backup to an already injury-prone Harry Kane. Some reports have even laughably suggested Spurs need Deeney because they lack leaders, despite counting the France, England and South Korean international captains in their squad. Meanwhile, comparisons between the physical styles of Deeney and Kane's former number 2 Fernando Llorente are fairly valid, but don't do enough to convince us this move could work. Spurs will be far wiser targeting a cut price move for Bournemouth's Callum Wilson. 2. Divock Origi to Aston Villa. On the surface of it, the chances of this transfer happening are slim at best. Despite his understudy role at Liverpool, Divock Origi seems to be happy at Anfield, and Jurgen Klopp is similarly keen for him to stay. This hasn't stopped him being linked with a move away from the club though. And whilst it's clear Dean Smith wants to improve his squad this summer, particularly up front, it seems Ollie Watkins is going to be the man to do it. Divock Origi hasn't played more than 1,000 league minutes across the last 2 seasons combined, and has failed on average to have over 2 shots a game since 2017, so this could be something of a risk. And whilst Vesely was slightly unlucky in his first season due to injury, even he bettered Origi for expected goals per 90, in a side which was battling for relegation rather than which was aiming for a record points tally. Judging by the way Liverpool do business too, the Belgium international would set the villains back over £20 million. Hardly good business for a forward who runs at less than a goal every 4 games. Number 1. Francisco Trincao to Leicester. Unlike others on this list, we reckon Trincao could fit pretty well at Leicester. The Portuguese forward, who plays mainly on the right, would provide excellent competition for Jose Perez, and is a cut above Demarai Gray. Even the Foxes' proposal, which currently looks like a 2-year loan deal with an obligation to buy for €50 million, isn't bad at all for such a highly rated player who's yet to turn 21. But it doesn't make this move any less bizarre. Trincao only completed his €31 million move from Braga to Barcelona this summer, and is obviously yet to play a game for the Blaugrana. And while it's no secret that the Catalan club are desperate to raise funds through player sales this summer and have a track record of selling talents at a profit not long after they've bought them, like they did with Yerry Mina and Jean-Claire Todibo, Barca would surely need a fee up front to make this transfer worth it from their end. However, another reported variation on the deal would involve Caglar Soyuncu moving to the Camp Nou, which would definitely strengthen Barcelona's options in defence, but could well spell disaster for the Leicester backline, leaving Filip Benkovic, who is yet to make a Premier League appearance in 2 seasons, one of just 3 centre-backs at the King Power, and the only one under the age of 32. Needless to say, we're finding it difficult to get our heads around this one. So that was our list of 10 weird transfers that could happen this summer, but what did you make of it? Let us know any other strange moves you've seen on Twitter in the comments below. Thanks very much for watching, we'll catch you next time.